A young black waitress named Luana worked tirelessly at a downtown restaurant. No matter the difficulties, she always kept a bright smile and did her best to provide top-notch service. That day, while serving tables, something outside the window caught her attention. Standing on the sidewalk was a man in a dire situation, his clothes tattered, his eyes filled with hunger. Watching others eat, it was as if his gaze could taste the food itself. Luana felt a tightness in her chest. That sight was impossible to ignore. Without hesitation, she approached Mr. Brager, the cook. "Excuse me, but may I have a plate of leftovers? I'll pay for it myself." The boss's response was immediate, his tone sharp. "Luana, there are no leftovers here. This is a restaurant, not a charity." Disheartened but determined, she returned to the dining room. That man's face wouldn't leave her mind. Taking matters into her own hands, she carefully prepared a simple meal: scrambled eggs, bread, and a hot cup of coffee. Seizing the moment when no one was watching, she slipped out the side door. "Here, sir," she said softly, approaching him. "This is for you." The man looked at her, stunned, as if he couldn't believe someone actually cared. With trembling hands, he accepted the plate. I don't even know how to thank you." "God bless you." Luana smiled, her heart at peace. She had done what felt right, but she had no clue how much that single act of kindness would change everything. Moments later, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed through the restaurant. Mr. Brager stormed in, his face red with fury. Customers and staff turned to watch. "What do you think you're doing, Luana?" She steadied herself. "Sir, I was only helping." The man was starving. Brager slammed his fist onto a nearby table. "Starving? That's not our problem. You've disrespected the rules and ruined this restaurant's image." Luana's face burned, but she tried to reason with him. "I was willing to pay for the meal. I only wanted to help someone in need." "Enough!" Brager roared. "You're fired. Gather your things and get out." The room filled with stunned, pitying stares. Removing her apron, Luana's eyes welled up, but her voice remained firm. "Fine, but if I had to do it again, I would." Without looking back, she picked up her purse and walked out. Across the street, the man she had helped witnessed it all. Guilt weighed on him. "She lost everything because of me." Meanwhile, Luana wandered the bustling streets, tears rolling down her face. Each step felt heavier than the last. Sitting on a park bench, she stared blankly ahead. The humiliation, the bills she still had to pay, and worst of all, how was she going to tell her sick mother she had lost her job? "What am I going to do now?" she whispered. But while she was lost in thought, the homeless man was restless. He couldn't just let things end this way. Then, a voice pulled Luana from her thoughts. "Excuse me, are you the waitress from the restaurant on the corners?" She looked up to see a sharply dressed man in a flawless suit. She hesitated. "Yes, but why?" The man gave a small smile. "My name is Renato Albuquerque. I was eating lunch there and saw everything unfold." Her heart pounded. "You saw?" Renato nodded. "Yes. I saw how you stood up for that man and how you were treated because of it. I couldn't just ignore it." Luana lowered her gaze. "I only wanted to help. I never thought I'd lose my job because of it." Renato studied her carefully. "What you did was admirable. Not many people have that kind of courage. The world needs more people like you." Then he handed her a card. "I own a chain of restaurants. I want to offer you a job." Luana's hands trembled as she took it. A job? Are you serious?" Renato nodded. "Absolutely. You're exactly the kind of person I need on my team." Tears welled in her eyes, but this time, they weren't from sorrow. She beamed. I don't even know how to thank you." Renato smiled. "No thanks needed. Just keep being yourself." The next morning, Luana got up early and called Renato. He asked her to come to his office. Nervous yet hopeful, she arrived and was met with warmth. As he introduced her to the staff, he made a shocking announcement. "Everyone, meet Luana, your new supervisor." She could hardly believe it. For the first time, she felt truly valued. With her new job, She was finally able to take care of her mother and settle her expenses. Everything was falling into place. Then, one afternoon, while she was working, someone unexpected walked through the restaurant doors. It was him. But this time, the homeless man was different. He was clean, dressed in fresh clothes, and smiling timidly. "Miss Luana," he called. Startled, she turned around. "You?" His smile grew. "I'm getting back on my feet. I have a job now. And it's all thanks to you. You gave me hope. You made me believe I could change." Luana's eyes shimmered with emotion. "You were always worth something. You just needed to believe it yourself." From a distance, Renato watched, smiling.